Stars Volta, Season 1, Episode 4. We're here in Nashville, Tennessee to interview a country singer-songwriter. He just signed to a major label that's owned by a big-time country artist. He was also on Season 6 of The Voice. The California Kid, Taylor Lee. So Taylor, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for inviting me into your home here in Nashville.
Of course, man.
Yeah, wanted to get you on the podcast because you have a very interesting story. You came from California. You're originally from Sacramento, right?
Yep.
California kid.
Yep.
Yeah, and so you got into music. Well, I don't know how you got into it, but what I found out is that you were on The Voice Season 6. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So tell me a little bit about that experience of being on The Voice. How do you get to be on The Voice?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it was a wild time of my life. I was 19 years old, so I was still, discovering who I was as a person and especially as an artist. And so, yeah, you basically I went the hard route. So apparently you can you can skip steps, and I learned this later on.
Uh-huh.
But the normal people, right? They go through the cattle call of the open call is what they call it, and they do that 4 spots across the United States.
Yeah.
Every year they do it. So mine was in Vegas. So I live in California, so we drove 9 hours south to Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, man, it's it's just TV shows where you show up, there's a huge line out the door, and they did it in 2 waves on the day that I went. There's a 7 a.m. and a 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. So I showed up to the 2 p.m. I got lucky and showed up, got in line in the first group.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically walk in, and then they have you with 10 other people basically, and you just sit around in a chair. This is just the first one, and then there's a dude just a producer just kicking it, just all right, you first, next. And you basically battle it out with these people. And so he cuts people, and then it's just you down to 2 or 3 of us. And then, you sing, get the little ticket next day. And it's a long process, but you basically do 4 different auditions before you get to the blind auditions. Mm-hmm. Is what the first thing on television. And yeah, that's when you go down to a hotel and you get quarantined. Getting quarantined before getting quarantined was a thing. And you'd be there for a month. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't talk to anybody. People would fly in and try and get you to talk about to their magazine or whatever, but couldn't say anything. And then you'd go through wardrobe, you'd go through, they gave you vocal coaches, so you do vocal lessons, and they'd kind of just shape you up as an artist. So at the time, they were actually making me into a pop dude, which was pretty interesting. So yeah, man, they put jean jacket, diamond earrings, short flip up hair kind of thing, and then they give you a song, right? So so at the point that I got to when you get to the blind auditions,
a covered or
a cover song, yeah.
Okay.
So all the songs are cover songs that that they audition with, and so anyways, when you get to the blind auditions, it starts off 70,000 people, and it shrinks down to 125 people left, and everyone that I met it was so cool. I met some really cool people. Morgan Wallen was on my season.
No way.
Yeah, a couple other cool people. And so I got to me and Morgan were good buddies at the time. We had each other's phone numbers. We golfed. We kicked it in the hotel rooms, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, it was a crazy for a 19-year-old just going down to LA and being like what is this life, and kind of getting the kind of raised my horizon, my sights of what I could be as an artist type thing. And so yeah, dude, trying to shorten the story as quick as I can, but basically you're there for a month doing all this stuff, wardrobe, going on set, doing all this filming, and you're constantly singing your song. The song they gave me was "Beautiful Soul" by Jesse McCartney, and so I'm in my hotel room singing it. I'm singing it, with my vocal coaches and all this stuff. And then the cool part about The Voice too is everyone hangs, right? They're all you gather around fire pits or gather in hotel rooms, and we're all singing our songs to each other and stuff. And everyone's good. It's not like American Idol where they purposely let in bad people so that it makes it's everyone's good on The Voice. Everyone can do all these things. And so I remember that was challenging for me too. It was wow, like these guys are really good. Like they're at a lot of them are at like another level vocally
Yeah.
than I was. So I was like, man, I got some. It was a little intimidating, but the last, like, so you're there for a month. They move you hotels. The last week, they basically take a wave of 25 people a day. So first wave goes, I don't get my name called. Second wave goes, no name called. Third wave goes, don't get my name called.
Wow.
Fourth wave goes, the last wave, I get my name called.
Oh.
And so they put you in like this waiting room. At this time though, like the teams have started to fill up, and no one's like thinking that, but that's what's going on. So I'm like maybe 2 or 3 people away from like auditioning, right? Producer comes back into the room and he's like, we're so sorry, man, but the teams have filled up for this season.
Oh.
Like you can't, like, I'm so sorry, but they chose everybody. So I didn't get a chance to even like go on the stage and like sing for any of them, dude. So they invite me back. They're like, all right, you can come back next season. You skip some steps. And this is where I learned like, oh, people like get to skip steps and stuff. And, anyways, dude, through like prayer and a bunch of other things, man, it ended up, I just decided that I didn't want to continue going down this path. Cause at that point, like it had already been like almost a year. I'd quit my job, like everything. Cause you got so much time, right? That you got to be in one area. So anyways, man, yeah, it's a
That's
crazy
so
time.
Who won that season? Do you know?
Oh, let's see. I think Daniel Bradbury was the season before me. And then, I can't remember his name. He was like, he's on like Broadway or something now, which is really interesting.
So Morgan Wallen didn't win it?
No, he came in like, he was like he was for sure top 10. He might have been top 5.
Wow. I didn't even know he was on that.
I know, not a lot of people do. And he was singing, his song was Collide by Howie Day.
Okay.
So they were kind of making him, he was like alternative. When I heard his voice too, he was like, oh, he's like this like gravelly alternative, like vocal. But little do we know, he had all those country roots. That's an easy crossover right there.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
How did you get into music before that? Like what inspired you? Does your family?
Yes, church. My dad was a worship leader. So we would, come to church every Sunday. We'd hear him. Well, I didn't come to church and hear my dad sing because he wasn't around, but we would, that's what his job was. He was singing in the church. And so we would hear him doing that. And when we would see him, it would be like, he'd be putting in Backstreet Boys and NSYNC in the car on CDs and stuff. And so that's what we were listening to. That's kind of where I got like the pop, beginnings or roots or whatever it is. And so, that was most of it. And then me and my brothers kind of started singing. We formed like a little like boy band.
Nice.
So man, we did this. I did this showcase in Florida. And these guys basically, like, me and my older brother sang, and they're like, oh, you guys are great, but we want to form a boy band. Do you have like another brother? We're like, yeah, he's out by the pool. So they invited him in, and then we like chatted. They flew us out. They're going to give us like a record deal. And then my older brother at the time, we were like younger. I was probably like 15 years old or something. And he like X'd the whole thing for whatever reason. He was like figuring out life,
Yeah.
So anyways, but that was kind of like church into that thing, and then kind of doing the pop stuff in church and kind of back and forth. We started, just kind of doing some shows here and there, and then was like, I'm just gonna do like church full time, like that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then, man, I don't know. I think honestly, after I did The Voice, meeting Morgan, meeting some other really cool people, I kind of like fell out of love of pop and fell in love with country kind of right after that. And man, so. It's
what was it like to kind of see Morgan develop into what he is, and you being able to kind of like hang around with him at the time? Like your talent was kind of equal to his for a moment, at least. You didn't get you're kind of like the 49ers and get a chance to fulfill your potential there. But we'll talk about that in a little bit too. Yeah. But did that kind of like have some impact on you? Like, I can do this, and look at what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we're both the same age. We're both like 29 right now. And so it was totally like I like totally related with him in a lot of ways. And so it was, for me to see him have success and me not have success, but feel like, hey, man, we were kind of like running at the same time in the same place. It was inspiring to me for sure. And I think that's a big part. His music, when he first released that album and the albums before, the Way I Talk and other songs that he released, I really related to. It was like, yeah, man, this is like for sure like the route that I'm wanting to go.
Yeah.
And it just hit home for me. I think for me too, like I didn't grow up listening to like a ton of country music. But
Do
it
a
was,
lot of people in
I
California
don't
listen
no,
to it?
no, I mean, it's funny. I'm Northern California. There's like a lot of farmland, and there's like a lot of like mountains, like Tahoe's close. And there's the beach and stuff like that. And so for me, that's kind of, I realized like quickly, like, man, I actually like have a ton of like country roots.
Yeah.
Family is like from the South, like in Georgia on my dad's side. So yeah, man, that's kind of like how it, fall in love with the music, and then realizing that I had roots that are like very country-esque roots.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, yeah, this makes sense.
So, what about John Party? He's California. He's from California, right?
Yeah, he is. It's like somewhere like, I think I played at a brewery that's like in Winters, California, or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know, but yeah, he's
There like like? Did you hear about him when you were in California, or was it
a
just
little
like,
bit, yeah. But
Yeah.
he kind of was like, I think he had like either left or whatever it was before he like got big in California.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but yeah, like you knew who he was, type
Yeah.
of thing. Like, oh yeah, this guy's like definitely doing some things. And then, but that was when I was like a lot younger.
Yeah.
And, so I was like, yeah, man, it's wild. But
So you made the move down to Nashville. That's a pretty big move, going from Northern California to Nashville. What was the inspiration or kind of that final push to get you going? Was it nothing clicking in California, or did you feel that like to be a country singer you had to be in Nashville?
yeah, I mean, I think for me, so after The Voice and we kind of like got some country stuff going, I toured up and down like California doing shows, met a lot of really cool people that, they were connected to, famous country artists or different music industry people. A lot of empty promises were given to me kind of up and down as I kind of touring up and down California. And so, I had management, I just a lot of different things, and it was just like, what, like nothing's like happening for me.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault. It was just like, hey man, like let's like make a move to like somewhere where things are more potent,
Yeah.
and there might be a little more opportunity. So I think for me, just my personality, it made sense. Like, move across country, throw yourself like into like the heart of it.
Yeah.
And it's been great so far.
So were you married at the time when you made the move down here?
Yeah, we basically got married. We got married, and then 2 weeks later we moved. So we
Wow.
both just like I was working at a church. She was accountant somewhere out there, and we both just are like, let's just quit our jobs, use all the money we made from the wedding to like pay for a U-Haul, like get across country, and we did it, man. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. So you made the journey. How long of a drive did you say that was?
It's like 3 days. I mean, it just depends. You could do it in 2 days if you just like jet through. I think we did it in like 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get to Nashville. What's the first thing you do? Like, are you?
Dude, I go to a coffee shop. I get on my phone. I type in like Nashville
how
for
do I
Dummies, dude.
become
Yes, like
a
how do you
country
become
singer?
famous here in that? Seriously, dude, I did that, and like you figure out some things to like right arounds,
Yeah.
and you start. You're like, okay, I can go to open mics, and then if the guy likes you, then he puts you on the actual like round,
Yeah.
and then from there it's like one thing leads to the next, network, meet these
Yeah.
people, do this round, and then you're playing different rounds at that point, and getting right schedule with people you meet at these rounds, and then yeah, man. So that's kind of what it was. And
Yeah. So when did you come out with Summertime?
Summertime. We came out with Summertime at the end of summer. Actually, we had it planned. It was last summer, 2022, summer 2022. And yeah, we just got to town. We're like, dude, we just need to like get something out, because I hadn't released anything since 2018. That was like the last thing I released. So it was like, let's just get something out there, get the the Spotify algorithm kind of cooking or whatever, and just kind of like let people hear a little bit of my sound. Because at that point I'd been in town for about 6 months, and so I just wanted to have some music coming out. So yeah, like great summer bop,
Yeah.
Came out at the end of summer. We tried to get it out a little sooner, but the future summers are going to be thankful for it, I think. Sometimes you gotta take a Monday out on some muddy water. Sometimes you gotta take a lunch break that might last all night. You tell the boss you got an 85 Mastercraft, hitch to the back, and he added 210 of Coors Light. Sometimes you gotta remember why God made summertime.
It's definitely a great song, and is that what kind of led to we can't exactly say the label you're signed to now. It's a big time artist, but the label hasn't fully developed into what it's supposed to be yet. There's still a couple of things that they're working out, but there is a big time artist that he's signed to. We just can't say who it is. But did Summertime lead to you getting connected with the people who got you signed to that label?
It could have played a role. They definitely heard that song. You send all your songs and stuff like that. I actually was just playing at the airport, at Puckett's at the airport, and this guy was there with his wife, and they're looking for someone to sing at their wedding, essentially. And so they heard me and were like, "Yeah, I think this would be our guy," kind of thing. Wow. And I was like, "Oh, sweet, man, sounds good." So I show up to the wedding and we play, and then just kind of develop a relationship after that.
Yeah.
Come to find this guy's just, a cool dude, real connected in town, does some really cool stuff. And so that kind of led to other connections and kind of finding out about this project that him and another partner are wanting to kind of develop in. So, yeah, it's kind of in the developing stages, but we're really excited about it, man.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, people who haven't gone to Nashville or been to the airport or know the music industry in Nashville, the airport, there is always someone playing all the time in all these bars. Like Old Red, there's always someone in there. Puckett's, there's like people playing. It's not like I don't know, like Atlanta where there's always the guy on the piano or it's not like that kind of thing. So if you ever go to Nashville and you go into the airport, there's gonna be people playing all the time, and everybody makes the rounds and goes through that system. So that's pretty cool that you were able to make connections there. So
yeah, dude, it was cool, definitely.
Nice. So now you're developing new music. You came out with a song, and let's talk about this first. So when was I here last when we filmed down by the lake? That was like a couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
So a funny story about that. So me and Taylor are looking for a spot at the lake, and we were walking in this path trying to just find the lake. Some nice old lady told us like how to get there. So we get there. There's like this little like almost like a little drop to drop your boat in, but I don't think any boats go on that. Like I'm not actually sure. Like a little boat drop that goes down. And we're like, oh, that looks a pretty cool spot. But there's like a lady and her husband who were there, and they seem like mid-40s, right? Mid-40s, 50s, something like that.
Something like that,
yeah. Mm. And you said something like, well, maybe we can find something else. I'm like, no, let's wait them out. Let's go down there. So we go down there, and I just start setting up some stuff, and they see me pull out my camera, and they see you with their guitar, and they're like, who is this? I'm like, oh, he's big time. I started like hyping you up and stuff. And like they're like, oh, we'll get out of your way if you want, or something like that. And we're like, well, you can stay. He'll be playing. And then then they looked you up on Instagram or something like that. I don't know. And they stayed, and they're listening to you play a couple of songs. The wildest thing happened. So like then they're like, all right, we gotta go pick up our kids. They're like, okay, see you later. And like they leave, and I'm trying to like set up another camera or something like that. And then my back is to where you walk down, and then like the lady comes sprinting down, and she goes, hey, do you mind if you take a video of me and my husband while Taylor sings? And I look at you, I go, is that okay? You're like, yeah, I guess.
Sure.
So, like, and I'm like, no, I guess it's kind of sweet. Maybe just go slow dance, but I don't know. So you start playing a song, and you're standing there. I don't know if I have the video. I hope I have the video. And you're standing there. I have the camera going on the tripod, and they're behind you for some reason.
Right.
And they get together, and I'm like looking for another camera. Like I had it set so like I didn't have to touch the camera.
Yeah.
And you're playing, so you can't see them. And then all of a sudden I hear like, I'm like, what is? I look up. These two are like not slow dancing. They're like together, just making out.
They're going at
it. And I'm like, what is going? I look at the camera. I'm like, what is this?
Right.
Oh, maybe I think I had their phone too. I don't even remember what it was. But like they're making out. And they're not dancing.
No.
And I'm like, what is this? So I'm like, all right. And like ended it early. They're like, oh, thank you so much. Like, no problem. We're like, what? I'm like, do you know what was going on behind you?
I had no idea, honestly. I was just like, I'm just gonna sing. Like, I've been those situations have come up for me before, so I'm like, I'm just gonna sing and just like get through this type of thing.
Oh my goodness.
And the song I was singing like did not match what they were doing.
Did not match what they were doing at all. I don't know what that was, but anyway, so when we were there, you sang a couple of your newer songs. So you sang Lost.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the background of that song and how it came to.
Yeah. So actually right on this back porch right here, did a Zoom call, me and my older brother. That's kind of like the first person I ever started writing songs with. And so we constantly throughout the year are still writing songs together. So he lives back in California. He is a signed artist here in Nashville for a Christian label. And so, but he's back home at a church there. And so we're like, hey, let's get on the call. Let's get a little Zoom going, get a write going. So we set up back there, and Zoom writes are not always like the easiest because they're just not like you can't fully connect. You're not in the same room. You're not in the same vibe. Luckily we're brothers, so it like made it a little bit easier. And I don't know, man, just sometimes songs just like click. This one took like hour and a half, maybe 2 hours tops. Wow. And we just like pumped it out, kind of figured out a song we wanted to figure out a song that was going to be in a good like range vocally for me. So we kind of just started with that, and then it just flowed out. And so, but yeah, really the song is all about kind of this idea of me growing up and then working in the church, and then kind of post-church, what life looks like when, for me now being a country artist, that's like my full-time gig. What it looks like when, life like takes a turn on you or tough things happen, and you're kind of trying to figure out your way back. So the whole idea is like sometimes you got to get lost to get yourself found. Getting back on a dirt road, cracking a couple beers, just like spending some time with God and kind of getting things like focused and figured out.
You get lost on some back dirt road where I can find things Jesus taught me back home. Lately my stained glass is last night's bourbon. I ain't the only way that I could hear from heaven. Cause I need to get lost, cause I know that I've been found. Some amazing grace, how sweet that sounds right now.
Yeah, and like started playing the song around town once we like wrote it, and I maybe played it like twice, and I was like, I don't like this song, and then came back to it maybe a month or two later around town, started playing, and I just saw it start to connect with people. And so I was like, oh, okay, maybe there is something like to this thing, and so we kind of did a little more like rewrite to it, and just to perfect it. And we're like, man, like so we got a demo out and started sending it to people, and people are like, dude, this is it, like this is a great song. So I was like, sweet, I needed to get more music out. So we set up a date to release it, and it would have come out a couple months ago, or a month ago. And anyways, through all this stuff we're talking about with the connection that I have now and kind of who we're working with, the song got put on hold by an artist. And so we're kind of just like waiting to see what happens with that. You never know when a song gets put on hold. It's just kind of like, okay, like this is a potential, could get cut, could not. So we were like, let's pump the brakes on this. And
so when you say put on hold, like it means that you do not have access to it. Like this,
I have I obviously am the writer. I have all the rights to it. So I could still go and like release it if I want to. But through like contracts and different things like that, once like an artist or their management or their label or whatever it is puts it on hold, that means that they're like, hey, we want this song. Like don't that's release it basically. So I'm sure there's legal stuff to it. But so it's exciting, man. Like that's a lot of ways, people kind of cut into the industry is getting a cut. So
does your brother help work with you to write often?
We're probably write at least once a month. We have like a write kind of set up, just depending when he has time, when I have time. And so he's a producer as well. So that's been super helpful, right? Is like kind of being able to, not have to pay to like, have a producer. We've met some amazing producers in town. So we'll like future songs, we'll probably be working with some of them as well. But it's nice.
Is he still back in California?
He is. Yeah. We're trying to convince him to move out here. So we'll see. We'll see.
Nice. So then another song is Hometown Hollywood.
Hometown Hollywood, man. Yep. That one is that's another one that I haven't played that around town yet, but have posted that just on like social media and stuff, and have gotten really good feedback. People connecting with that one. Kind of the idea of like, even if I never make it, I've still made it by playing in my hometown, like being able to sell out like my hometown bar. or whatever it is, being hometown Hollywood, and in your hometown being Hollywood or whatever. So I think it's a cool thing for people to kind of reshift their focus on what it means to like make it in the industry, or what it means to make it in life. People have been connecting with that one as well. So
So let's talk about that a little bit. Like when you're on The Voice, you and your wife moved from California to here, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who doubted, your talent, or doubted that you'd make it this far, right? And that happens not just with music, happens with athletes, happens with people in everyday jobs when they take risks and they move places or they change jobs. Tell me a little bit about what you were going through in that transition where there was nothing like really clicking and you're still trying to make it. Like, how did you deflect the negativity from sinking in and stay positive?
That's a good question. I feel like there's multiple things. First, it's like God, right? Like just being like locked in and knowing like, hey, he's got a plan for my life. So it's like, all right, let's like stay locked into that. But putting good people around me, my brother being one of them, my younger brother being another one. He's a videographer, super talented dude. And so I'm real close with them. And my older brother being in the music industry, he's constantly, reminding me, hey, dude, like this is a long journey. You're going to constantly get, negative things. You're going to have constantly have moments where you feel like you want to quit. Also have had like random, just like mentors and good people throughout my life that have given me little tidbit, like little nuggets that have just been like, man, that's like, I'm going to hold on to that. This guy, I don't know if it's a book or if it's like his like theory or whatever it is, but the idea of like the dips in life and how in those dips is when you have to continue pushing through and keep like pressing even harder type of thing. And so for whatever reason, that image is just stuck in my head where you like dip and then you go up. And so the excitement of what's to come after the dip, like the climb, I think that's the part that mentally just continues to help me push through the negative stuff. People being like, I even like, as much as I love my mom, she was, super against me moving just because she's going to miss me and is probably, nervous that I quit my job and like, what am I doing? Like going out from the umbrella of the church to just like the secular kind of style. And so, and she's totally on board and super supportive now. But at the time that was someone that I looked up to that was like, hey man, like, maybe this isn't maybe this is a bad choice. And that's another one where I was just like, I was so set on moving out here and going after this that like, that was greater than any other thing.
And that's kind of the tougher parts to get over, is that kind of like friendly fire, I like to call it, because they're just looking out for you. They want the best for you, want you to be safe and supported and all that kind of stuff. So her saying like, or her, I don't know if she said it, or her feelings for her to get you to stay wasn't anything like you can't do it, right? It was more like, I don't think that's as secure as you staying here and having your family support. So like getting over that kind of friendly fire is kind of the bigger push. And once you get through that, but like you said, there's still all these dips. And I kind of like refer it to like when you're working out, like when you get to that point where you kind of want it, you're almost done. Like you're like, I can't do another set. It's that afterburn through that you get most of your success and gains. It's kind of like that in life. Like you get to a point where it's uncomfortable and you kind of like, okay, I've done a lot. Like this is I put in a good enough work. But if that afterburn, the little bit after, is kind of where that success lives, and that's how you gotta get to that point and feel uncomfortable. So
100%, a lot of uncomfortability, that's for sure.
So playing random shows and playing in the airport, playing wherever you have to, you've done that, and it's got to a good point right now, right?
Yeah, it's starting to pay off, which is great.
So tell me what the future looks like for Taylor Lee.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think we have some exciting stuff coming up, like a tour, I guess, type of thing where we're gonna be going to different locations again. All this stuff is like stuff that I can't necessarily just like say right now, but it's gonna all come to be soon, and we're really excited about it. So we're going to be doing that, but that's the goal, right? Is just like that we can get on someone's tour and then be the one that's like headlining a tour type of thing. And we got rides going all month. We got rides booked out, and just trying to get songs cut, trying to get the momentum kind of going, and people seeing. That's probably the like year out type of thing. But it's a lot of momentum's going right now, so it's pretty exciting, man.
Nice. So visualization and imagery is huge for success.
Oh yeah.
I have my master's in sports psych and early on I was into, sports psychology and doing all that kind of stuff, but visualization and imagery are huge. You probably, dreamt about this, right? You dreamt about the grind and getting onto tour. How exciting is that for you that you're gonna be going on tour?
Oh, it's super exciting, man. Yeah, it's like you do, like, ever since kind of like I said when we did The Voice, you get your first like taste of what that like life could look like for you, and you're constantly raising your horizon of, oh, this is actually like the level that I can get to. Oh, this is actually the level I could get to. And so it's 100%. And so like being on tour now and like being able to be like, okay, we're doing this. It's super exciting. I think just like you're saying, this whole idea of just continue to push through, and just be like, all right, like, and not being satisfied like with where you're at. Like it's easy to be like, oh, there, like I get a little bit of success. And be like, oh, we can just kind of cruise here. And then the visualization thing, man, it's huge. Like we were just at Bridgestone for my older brother was playing there, and their worship band's like name was on the little thing backstage. And so for me, it's like visualizing my name being on that. Or the other day I saw like it was Scotty McCreery's like truck, right? He's got this huge semi just for his like gear that they're taking show to show. And I'm trying to imagine like Taylor Lee and big, like with my face on the side there, and like literally like visualizing it and seeing it. It's huge. Yeah. And I think that stuff comes to be, and it all started kind of when I was on The Voice all the way through, just being like, yeah, like we can do this. Going to concerts, looking back at the crowd as the guy's singing and seeing what he's maybe experiencing, like purposely getting pit tickets so I could like be up front and look backwards. So I could see the crowd and be like, man, like I totally like believe that this is going to happen for me type of thing.
So cool.
Yeah, dude.
Nice. So tell us what your wife thinks about this. Like,
dude, she honestly has like been the biggest support. That's like the reason we were able to quit our jobs, move across the country right after we get married. Like that's not like the smartest thing to do, like especially when you first get married. So but she's been super supportive. That's how we met. She met me. She went to see this artist that was headlining. I was opening up for him. And she fell in love with me. Of course, I was way better than the headliner. So, no, she fell in love with me there, man, I guess. And we were both dating other people at the time. But, yeah, like a year later, we kind of met up. And it was just cool for her to meet me in that moment of me, like, doing my thing. To be like, okay, yeah, like, it just laid, like, the foundation, the groundwork of what our relationship was, going to potentially look like. And now it does look like. Yeah. So she's been super supportive. There's, like, late nights, right? Like, out till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. sometimes, just doing rides, being downtown, then coming back home. And she works 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So it's hard to support someone that's like, and our time together is crazy because she'll work during the day. And then when she gets home, I like go out and do a ride around, or I'm doing a gig or meeting people or doing a ride or whatever it is. So it's a little while, but dude, she's been super supportive. It's been huge having that. Yeah,
that's great, and it'll be worth it when you're on stage.
That's right, man.
Big venues, selling out. So that's kind of cool, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Dude, you're
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
The day one when I met you, you're like, your personality is just like, you're upbeat, and it's always nice to cheer for someone like that. So,
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that part is great about you. What's not great about you is that you're a 49ers fan, but
yes, dude.
I'm a Cowboys fan. You guys beat us in the playoffs twice.
That's right, bro. That's right.
But as I alluded to earlier, you guys didn't get to fulfill your potential with Purdy getting injured.
Man.
Thoughts on your 49ers going into the future or on the season as well?
Yeah, well, I'm excited about it. Like because Shanahan's such a great coach. So no matter like who takes the place in like the coaching roles or whoever comes on the team, I know that we're going to be successful just because he's so like cerebral. He's so smart. So I'm like, our future of the Niners, like I'm not worried. What I am worried about is our quarterback position. Like for Shanahan, I can imagine, dude, how many Super Bowls Shanahan would have won had he have a quarterback that wasn't injured, like a good healthy quarterback. So we'll see, man. It's interesting. The Purdy situation is going to be interesting because like to see if he's going to be like starting basically coming into next season, or if it's going to be Trey or Garoppolo will be gone. Yeah. And Trey Lance is the other guy who's injured all season. So it's like, we'll see. We went number 3 with him, I think. And so it's like, well, what are they going to do? If nothing else, I mean, I just like Purdy. He's got composure, man. He's just so, and the team likes him, which is huge.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I don't know, but
he's getting paid next to nothing, so that's a great thing to have on the contract or on your roster.
Yeah.
And then I think like Lance still is on that rookie deal too.
Yeah.
And Garoppolo was a 1-year deal this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
he's definitely gone. There's no way he's going back into that.
I don't think so. Yeah. Like we said that last year, and he came back. But
there has to be someone who picks him up this year, though. Like
I'm sure
another team.
Yeah.
Like there's no way he signs, even if San Francisco wants to decide and trade him. There's no way he goes back into that. So it's gonna be Lance and Purdy. Your defense is pretty stout, dude. Bosa, Nick Bosa.
Yep.
Joey, which one's on?
It's Nick Bosa.
Nick.
Yeah.
Have you seen videos of him on? I don't know what it was. It's either on YouTube or whatever it is, where he's like the chillest guy ever. Like I don't know who was like just like pumping them up, like yelling, like we gotta get after him. And Nick Bosa was like, I agree.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then like he gets a sack. He goes, "Ooh, a sackaroonie."
Just in mid game.
Mid-game. I was like, oh, I hate that. I like that.
Yeah. Dude, I know, man. The Niners defense is a scary thing, bro.
Yeah.
It really, really is. So, and we have so many weapons on both sides too.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone that, like I said, anyone that comes into the situation, coach or player, they're going to be successful.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped for it. The future's looking bright.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that. The Cowboys, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. Like now, McCarthy's gonna be calling plays. I don't know. He could barely manage, the time with his timeouts and game management.
Man.
Is like now he has to call plays. I'm like, oh no,
it's tough, bro. I know.
We got rid of Brett Maher, so now we have to get a new kicker.
That was tough, man.
Dude, what happened? Like,
I don't know, man.
Definitely the yips.
He got the yips for sure.
Because he was making the field goals there further, but he just couldn't hit.
Oh, it was bad.
He was overcorrecting, undercorrecting, and it was like, oh no, dude. Like, and he had a whole week.
When it leads into the next game, then he's done for. He's mentally it's tough for him to get past.
And the Cowboys brought a kicker on. It's like, no, we're gonna stick with Brett. No sweat, Brett. He's got it. And then the one got blocked against San Francisco. But it was going.
Oh, it was for sure going left.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it looked brutal, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, this poor guy. Like you just and you're sitting on your couch watching. You're just like you're cringing. You're like, dude, I can feel this right now for you.
Yeah.
And this is unfortunate.
Like. The game before that, I would throw off my hat. I'm like, look at my girlfriend, like, are you kidding me? And she's like, I've never seen this before in my life. I've never seen this before in my life. And this is something else. But
oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, getting Dak right is number one.
I know, man.
Re-signing Pollard, I guess that's number two.
Just make him your number one running back. Probably.
Yes. Get rid of Zeke. Yeah, you cost too much, and maybe pick up a free agent or draft someone.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. I've been living this life of misery for a long time, where Cowboys just get hyped up so much, where it's like, and then we lose, and I'm angry, and then the season comes up, and I get excited. Oh, we're gonna do this. Right. It's how I've been living since like 1995. So it's been tough, but hopefully they have as a successful career as you're gonna have.
Appreciate it, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Once again, thanks again for having us here in Nashville. And tell the people your hashtags or whatever your ats are for Instagram and
Instagram officialtaylorlee. You just look it up. TAYLORLEE, man.
Website
is Taylor Lee Music. Yep. Post all of our tour stops and everything on there. And yeah, dude, music, everything's all Spotify, Taylor Lee.
Go look them up. Go download
Check it out,
them.
man.
Links will be everywhere. Thanks again, and thanks everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for watching. And now you'll hear a little word from our sponsor. Thanks everybody. Take care. Bye. Today's episode is brought to you by ProSups and their multi-line of fitness supplements. Two of my favorites are Mr. Hyde's signature pre-workout and Hyde Nightmare. Both pre-workouts give me a clean, sustained energy and help me focus in the gym. If you're looking for more energy and looking to boost your workouts, look no further than ProSups.